for another installment of my 2PC setup. So, the last one had some audio issues. I do not believe we will have any audio issues this time. Those were outside my control. Mostly anyways. So, welcome back. So, if you're doing a 2PC setup with a Vtuber system, the first thing we need to be aware of, there's only, well, the way I did it is the simple way. Most of the processing is handled by the second system. It does all your audio, it does all the running and encoding through OBS, it runs your face tracking software. The only thing your other PC does is run the games. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. So, that makes this pretty darn easy. So, you wonder, what the setup looks like. So, here is the other PC and the only program we need to talk about here, which is Voicemeeter. So, Voicemeeter on here takes basically just the virtual audio and lets me output it to the capture card, which is on the other PC through HDMI. So I only need one cable for video and audio. It's a very simple setup. So one cable connects the two PCs, and that's the only cable you need. At least, unless you want to get funky with it and try to offload like some of your audio to the other PC, and then it gets messier. Yeah, it's a lot messier if you try to do that. So let's not do that and do it the easy way. So here, you'll also see that there's two outputs. I use the other output usually with headphones, though sometimes my monitor speakers, when I'm not actually using it for streaming, because I want to be able to hear some of the stuff on it, like system sounds and that sort of thing, without it being particularly loud. And the speakers in my monitor are just not, going to be very loud. They're very silent. I do a lot of video editing on the gaming PC because it's the more powerful one. So that makes it useful for that. I usually use headphones when I do that because the audio quality is better. I could do it on the other machine, but it's just easier to do it this way. So that is basically everything that the other PC does. Basically, that's it. We send the video, which you can see here. There is one other part, which you can see here. This is the monitor setup. My monitor is a native 1440p monitor. So obviously, most of the time, you want to run at 1440p. But that's when you see this down here. Multi-monitor displays. Extend the display. Well, the capture card, at least with my current card, which is an Elgato HD 60 Pro, only does 1080p 60. So I have to go and set the options here to duplicate these displays, and then both screens default to 1080p. This does, however, still cause some issues. Namely, if I go past 60 frames per second, even though it shouldn't be doing that, games can at times push you past 60 frames per second. So, in those cases, what we have is the capture card just stopping its feedback, which is not good which is not good, and it's not what we want. So that covers the PC there. I should note that I do plan to get a new capture card, which can do 1440p and higher frame rates, because that will make it so much easier. I can just leave the screens duplicated and I won't have any issues. My problem is deciding between cards that can do that. There are only a handful and they all have trade-offs. So the easy thing, because I already have the software, would just be to buy a new Elgato card, because they have one that can do up to 4K or 1440p at 144 frames per second. So easily could do what I need. In fact, I could start changing my refresh rate on my monitor, because my monitor can do much higher than 60 hertz, but it's limited by the capture card. So that's the thing. Also, of course, OBS, usually you can't stream past 1080p at 60 frames per second. So it's kind of overkill, but it is helpful because it would just make my setup even easier. Even easier. So now, back on this PC, most of it is pretty simple, but let's bring up Voicemeeter. And Voicemeeter on here is a little more complex because this is the higher end version of Voicemeeter. Oh, and I should mention, Voicemeeter is free or by donation. I actually did a donation, so just because I use it so much that I figured they deserved it. So I have actually paid for it, but you don't have to. Now, the big difference here is that we have multiple inputs. The second one, it says it's Elgato sound capture, but that is not actually the capture card doing audio. That is their capture utility to capture sound from your system. It's here anyways because I haven't removed it, but it's not really needed. It's not needed. It doesn't do anything. I wish it did. I wish I could just capture the sound without the video part sometimes. It'd be kind of nice, but I can't. It's not an option I have. I kind of want to talk to some of the companies that do these things and, get them to support that as a feature. It sounds really fun to me. So, and it would make things easier. I could just output all the time from one system to the other for audio and handle all audio tasks and the speakers, my good speakers, through this. As you can see, my microphone obviously is the first input. I don't need any other hardware inputs because there aren't any. But we need virtual inputs because that's your desktop. I can also do more virtual inputs if I wanted. In particular, I've tried doing this with like Discord and like playing back like music files during streams through setting the programs to use very particular inputs and outputs. You can do that. However, some programs don't like that at all. Usually, it's the Microsoft ones that don't like doing that. So, because of that, I don't currently have any of those set up. I've tested them. They didn't work so great for me, so I'm just not using them. However, here's another aspect of what we're looking at. So, over here, you have A1, A2, and A3. These correspond to your hardware outs. Now, this system is going to have multiple outs because this is what we're running all the audio through. So, we need to pick. Obviously, my good speakers are the first one. They're optical cable speakers and very high end as far as that goes. Though not surround, I don't have the space for that. So they're not that good, but for a single set of satellites and a sub, it's as high end as you can get, which is really all you can hope for in my room. So, anyways, the other is 2, which is what you see everything set to right now, because that is my monitor. But in my monitor, I plug in my headphones, and that's how I listen to everything. So, right now, everything is set to that, because I want to be able to output what I say to the headphones. They're not noise canceling, but sometimes, like when my audio, for mysterious reasons I've never worked out, suddenly cuts off my audio, it's nice to know that. So I have it play back, and I can monitor how it sounds and if you can hear me. So that's very helpful. You don't have to do that, but it's what I set it to, and this makes that easy. This is also something that doesn't require some funkiness in OBS. So now you're probably wondering what we have in OBS, because you don't see, obviously, the capture card. So obviously I can't listen to the capture card in here. Well, I tried. That's not what that does, though. So let's cut over to OBS. It's now very trippy, but you can see down below here. You see microphones still, but I don't monitor this. I do it through the other app, because if I do it here, I get what it is after all the filtering, because I have filters that run on here. It should be showing that, but it's not. So anyways, there's filters that run on it, like a noise gate and some other stuff that are useful. This particular overlay is used for a lot of things when I'm doing videos. So there are all sorts of inputs and sources basically in here, but we don't care about those. All we really care about for this is our 3 channels here. Now, I have no audio playing when I'm recording this, but you'll hear some when I'm actually done making this into a video, because I add some, stuff on the front and edit up the end, and I'll add a music track to go with everything. And it's easier to add that at the end rather than right now. So right now, it's just my voice. So that's literally what we see. Now, if I were to, I know it's not showing, but if we were to have stuff coming in through the capture card right now, you would see the bar moving just like the mic does. And you can see that I'm peeking into the yellow at times, and that is pretty much where you want it to be for your audio. Anyways, the capture card has to be handled a little bit differently for that, and I don't know if this is going to show up, but no, it's not. Okay, well, I'll see if I can add a picture sometime, but there are all of my sources, audio-wise, that are going to be listed, and audio monitoring is one of the options. Monitor off is usually what you want for almost everything, but to be able to hear the content coming through the capture card, you want monitor only mute output, and that is the correct setting to hear what's coming from the capture card without causing echo and other things like that. So I had a lot of problems when I first did this because the other options cause things like echo. So, you're going to hear echo if you do it wrong, but you probably won't hear it yourself. It'll sound fine to you, but everyone watching is going to have probably a big issue because you're going to sound weird. You're going to sound very weird. I think that covers it. Literally, you've now seen how the setup works, and we've gone over all the basics. So, there's nothing really advanced in here. I could do a video sometime about setting up gates and that sort of stuff, but I'd have to figure out why you can't actually see my settings. So I'm gonna look into that and see if I can do that. Or what I need to do to make that happen. You'll also see if I do that video stuff like enabling an equalizer, because I have equalization, a gate, and filtering. And those are the three things that I run in OBS specifically. Hopefully, it comes out with good quality audio on your end. I hope this helps. So, take care. See you later. Goodbye.